Bureaucracy is killing ideas. It never ceases to amaze me when firms set a hierarchy where ideas are only given from the top down. Yet individuals at all levels of a firm can innovate, whether that be those individuals at the post-room level or right the way up to the CEO. How can you be more innovative? Well, intrapreneurship is a growing buzzword in innovation today. But maybe you're curious, what exactly is intrapreneurship? In my opinion, intrapreneurship is the most underutilized, undeveloped, and unexplored potential breakthrough skill that we all need to develop. Intrapreneurship is the art of acting as an entrepreneur within a firm. It's identifying opportunities to create value, to innovate, and then taking them. Intrapreneurship led an aerospace engineer to designing the Post-it note. Intrapreneurship is how Java came to power 3 billion mobile phones. Intrapreneurship is how a determined junior Sony employee battled with their senior managers and brought the PlayStation to market. And how did you hear about the event today? Through email? Well, it's thanks to Google's 20% time policy that their 900 million users have access to email. Imagine every Friday giving employees the entire day to work on a project that they believe in. That is what Google did, and that is how they came to produce some of the most profit-making innovations in their business. Now let me tell you my story in how I came to discover intrapreneurship and also the shock which I experienced when going into the corporate world. 5 years ago, I walked through the doors of Stirling University Business Club, and little did I know that it would change my life forever. When I joined the business club, the idea of the club was actually to teach students about business outside of the classroom. And when I joined a few months later, I actually became the president of the club, and in that role, collaborated with a team to change the mission of the club to being more focused on what it was that the students were looking for, and by creating engaging events. We challenged members to take £10 and to create as much money as possible in 24 hours. We challenged them to ask business leaders what it was that had driven them to be successful. We challenged them to then take their business ideas and pitch them. We challenged them with so many more challenges as well, and too many to share today. But what I learned from that experience was that, first of all, we were very successful. The idea was successful, and membership tripled, and we won several awards. But what I really learned is that afterwards, we were innovating in that role, and I later discovered that we were actually acting as intrapreneurs. From that experience, I was then able to walk into Stirling University Business Incubator, and in that role, I helped over 20 entrepreneurs to start up their companies. Being immersed in that entrepreneurial environment really taught me about the fail fast, succeed sooner mentality, and that's something that I came to really love. I embraced that mentality myself, and I admired the way that entrepreneurs welcome failure with open arms. They see it as a learning opportunity and embrace it entirely. In that role, we also were able to take in 52 hours an idea from concept to reality. But entrepreneurship wasn't always my dream. Who did you dream of being when you were growing up? My first dream was to be a singer, and then after that, I dreamt of going and being paid to swim with dolphins. However, I realized that they weren't quite realistic. And later on, I decided to pursue the much more realistic goal of being the CEO of a FTSE 100 company. So imagine my shock when I walked into the corporate world and realized that this might not be for me. 2 years ago, I walked into an internship in Boston. And in that role, I entered the corporate world with the mindset of an entrepreneur. In this role, because I was new to the company, I was actually able to bring a fresh set of eyes to what the business was doing, and I could identify problems that they were seeing and then develop solutions in line with these. And I did develop one solution, which I discussed with my business manager, and we worked on the solution, and I was very lucky because they believed in my idea. Essentially, it was to improve the experiences of new hires coming into the business, which would in turn increase retention rates, thus reducing business hiring costs. It was win-win. It would make staff happier, and it would also reduce the business costs. So I was lucky, they believed in my idea, and it was implemented. However, I realized in that meeting, I found out that actually the implementation of my idea would take 6 months, and I was shocked that it would take such a long time. Remember, I was used to being able to implement ideas quickly and sometimes within a matter of hours. So imagine my shock at being told that it would take 6 months. I was quite frustrated, and the frustration did set in at that point. But what I then did, and after the meeting ended, I was feeling very frustrated. So, as with most people of my generation, and believing that anything is possible and hoping that my dream of being a CEO would be kept alive, I went and turned to Google and typed in entrepreneurship in firms, hoping that this would already exist. And a few moments later, I was introduced to the concept of intrapreneurship, and a love affair was born. What I discovered is that I was very lucky. In fact, that 2/3 of employees feel that their ideas are lost entirely in business. And that shocked me. So I realized that I was very lucky, and I realized that the employees who see every day a problem within business that they've discussed already with their managers actually not being implemented, can you imagine how frustrated they must actually feel, especially when that idea isn't being taken on board? And I realized that would be serious frustration, and that is why we need to support employees' ideas, and that is why we need to use intrapreneurship to do so. And from my experiences within the internship, but then afterwards I went to Australia, and I actually worked within 3 entrepreneurial companies and also began academic research in this field. And what I discovered are the 6 different challenges which I worked towards entrepreneurship, and I implemented these in my own career, and today I would like to share those with yourself. The first challenge is to be solution-driven. So potential entrepreneurs, you have the ability to innovate within your firms and within your careers. You are the expert in your job. So if you can train yourself to be solution-driven, to consciously think about the problems that you see, you can develop solutions to these problems, and you can drive those forwards. The second challenge is to collaborate. If you can work with your colleagues and working together, what you can actually do is bring your idea to life faster with their time, but you can also use their ideas to help develop your idea and take it forwards even further. Challenge 3 is to create a sharing culture. Together, if you work together and create a sharing culture, we can stop profit-making ideas from being lost in bureaucracy. If we create a sharing culture, we can stop these ideas being lost, but also we can ensure that the ideas and the business development is going even further. The medium itself, it could be anything from an ideas box by the water fountain, right the way up to a corporate investment board where employees can pitch their ideas. What matters most is that you are receptive to ideas, both as colleagues and as managers, that you're listening to those ideas, and that the employees will share them with you rather than keeping them to themselves, or worse, sharing them with your competitors. Once your idea is ready, Now you've got to take it into the real world and you've got to sell your idea. But because believing in your idea is not enough. You need to be able to clearly articulate the business rationale behind your idea to be able to take it forwards and to get the buy-in of your manager, of the group director, and of the CEO. You need to be able to get them on board and to fall in love with your idea to the same extent that you have. And perhaps you hear the word no, and you believe that you've failed. The reality is, as the entrepreneurs did in the business incubator, you should embrace failure with open arms. Remember the master innovator, Thomas Edison, and know that you have not failed. You have simply found one solution to the problem which doesn't work, and you're on the journey to finding the one solution which does. It would be naive to believe that we can turn this around within a matter of hours. Change takes time, but it also takes a change maker to make this happen. And in this case, that's you. You can innovate within firms. You can drive entrepreneurship forwards, and you can stop bureaucracy from killing ideas. If we collaborate and support each other, we are able to bring this to life and to create this much faster, more easily, and with greater mass. Recognizing the value of sharing, I developed a tool for entrepreneurs to share their ideas both internally within organizations and externally across industries, so that together we can bring this change-making idea to life faster. And entrepreneurship. So my final challenge for you today is to share your ideas with each other. Share your ideas and and discuss them with your colleagues, collaborate, play devil's advocate with each other, and don't be afraid that someone else will steal your idea, because you are the only person who can have the same idea as you, and you're the only person who will think about it in the exact same way that you do. So share your ideas today. And my final challenge for you is that, exactly. Share one of your ideas with each other, with one other person today. Share an idea with someone in the room, perhaps, or whether you're watching at home, share an idea with with the next person that you see. And so finally, entrepreneurship is the art of acting as an entrepreneur within a firm. I use the 6 challenges of entrepreneurship to drive this forwards, and today I ask you, how will you drive entrepreneurship forwards so that we can create innovation from the inside of organizations? Let's take innovation to the next level and make entrepreneurship the keystone of business development. Thank you.